There. Finally got it.
Marcus, if you get this message, if you're still alive, I need your help.
Oh, God.
This time I really am asking
Marcus.
for your help. Please.
It's your father.
Listen.
Yeah, I
It's
noticed.
complicated and
Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Eric.
And this is Seth.
And welcome to 3Play, where we review video games, movies, and anime. This week we're going to be reviewing Gears of War 3, available on the Xbox 360.
Yeah, Prescott's back, Michelson's dead, and my father's alive. Film at 11.
Gears of War 3 takes place a year and a half after Gears of War 2. The Locusts have been flooded out of their holes, and they're now living on top of the Earth. The lambent is spreading, the infection is taking over more and more Locusts every day, and the Earth is just absolutely destroyed. Early on, we find out that Marcus's father is still alive, and he may have a cure for the lambent and for the Locust, a final end to this war once and for all. So it's up to Marcus and his team to travel across Serra, the world they live in, to find his father and save the world. Gears of War 3 is a third-person cover-based shooter. It's actually the series that got the cover-based shooting started, pretty much. You can just take cover behind anything that you see and fire at the enemies from the cover. You can blind fire from the cover, and you can also hop over it. If an enemy happens to be on the other side of it, in this game, when you hop over, you'll actually drop kick them and they'll fall to the ground. As you shoot the enemies, they get hurt and they'll become downed. And when they're downed, you can either kill them or pretty much humiliate them by running up to them and doing any kind of crazy execution, such as punching them in the face repeatedly until their head explodes, or ripping their arm off and beating them with it until they die, to one of the many different executions that the guns have in the game. Every single gun has its own special execution, so you can just take your pick there. And you can also lift up the enemies when they're down and use them as cover themselves.
There are a lot of crazy guns in Gears of War 3. There's the Lancer, which is like an assault rifle, except it has a chainsaw on the front of it that you can use to slice your enemies in half. There's also the Retro Lancer, which instead has a bayonet on the front that you can use to charge at your enemies and impale them.
And there are even weapons like the torque bow that you can charge up and shoot at your enemies, where it's like a giant explosive bolt that sticks into whatever it touches and explodes. If it's near the enemy, it's probably going to blow them up, but sometimes it'll just knock them over. There's things like the digger. You can shoot that into the ground, and it's basically made for people that just want to hide behind cover and not take fire or move up. It'll just dig through the ground until it reaches the enemy, pop out of the ground, and explode behind their cover. That's only 4, but there are just a ton of weapons in this game, and they're all really crazy. As far as the leveling system, when you play the single player, you do get level ups. For every enemy you kill, you get experience. Levels unlock new characters for you to use in multiplayer. All the characters are very different. You can choose for the good side or the enemy side which character you look like. There's medals to unlock. The more work you put in towards that specific medal, the higher it'll go up, and you can unlock different titles for each medal. And there's 4 different ranks for most of the medals, and they all upgrade in their name. And you can equip that title to your profile, and it'll show that for when you're playing online.
The largest portion of Gears of War 3 is its multiplayer option. There's a co-op campaign, versus, horde, and beast modes. In co-op, you can play up to 4 people online. You can also do 2 players on a single system. Each player can choose their own difficulty, so if you're playing with somebody who may not be as good as you, you can have 2 separate difficulties so that somebody's not always dying and you don't always have to restart the chapters over and over again. All the collectibles found in the single-player campaign are also present in the co-op campaign. So if you're looking for collectibles while playing with a friend, you can still do that.
Now we have the Versus mode, the big reason people most likely bought Gears of War 3. There are 10 total maps in Gears of War 3 to play in. You have Team Deathmatch, Warzone, Execution, Capture the Leader, King of the Hill, and Wingman. There are a total of 10 players in every game, 5 on each team, excluding Wingman, which is 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 2. Every game there's going to be a vote before the game starts, so you can choose which map to play in. In Team Deathmatch, each team gets a pool of 15 lives to share from, to go over and kill the enemy team. Once all 15 lives are out, that's it, and they each only have 1 life left before they die, and once they're all killed off, the game is over. In Warzone, it's kind of like the endings of Team Deathmatch. Each team only has 1 life each, and they just have to go out there and eliminate the enemy team. This is the classic Gears game. In Execution, the rules are just like Warzone, except you have no choice but to run up to the enemy and kill them close up, whether it be one of the weapon executions or just shooting them right when you're right next to them. You just cannot kill them from afar. In Capture the Leader, each team is assigned 1 leader, and the other team has to go through, find their leader, down them, pick them up, and hold them for 30 seconds. King of the Hill is exactly as it sounds. Just run to the point, hold it, defend it, and get 150 total points to win. And finally, there's Wingman. 4 teams of 2 duke it out to reach 15 points. 1 kill is 1 point, and the first team to 15 wins. Horde mode is a game type for up to 5 players to take control of one of the characters they've unlocked and fight off up to 50 different waves of enemies. You unlock different upgrades as you go through Horde mode. You can place down things like caltrops or decoys or unlock this gigantic walking machine of death. Every time you spend money on those, they level up more and more. As they level up, like the caltrops will turn into barbed wire and the barbed wire will turn into laser wire, and every level up will stay with your profile, so if you join another Horde game, it's all in your profile, so whatever you've done is yours. You get more money from killing more enemies, so the more you kill, the more you can upgrade, the more you can level up.
Beast Mode is a game type that was introduced for Gears of War 3. It's a lot like Horde, only this time you play as the Locust. You start off with some small level characters and build your way up to stronger Locusts. The objective is to kill all the humans, and the more waves you face, the stronger the enemies are. And the more kills you get, the more money you have to spend on bigger and better creatures. And just like in Horde mode, the humans will set up traps and barriers to stop you from getting to them.
The graphics in Gears of War 3 are some of the best you're going to get on the 360. It's very different from Gears of War 1 and 2. The environments are actually really bright and very colorful. The characters actually look less bulky. It looks like they've lost some of their muscle mass. A lot of the armor that they used to have on them is gone, so they look a lot more human, and that really helps connect with them more. If you've played Bulletstorm at all, you'll have a great idea of how the graphics in Gears of War 3 look. They're just extremely colorful. There's a lot of light, and it looks really beautiful. It isn't anything like Gears of War 1 and 2. It's not extremely rainy and crazy looking, it's not always dark, and it doesn't look extremely bleak. The colors do pop and the visuals look amazing.
I'd better talk to that gallant captain then. I have a mission for him.
The rough, manly voices in Gears of War are still there, but they added more dialogue, so the story sounds a lot better.
Where's my goddamn father?
But thanks to them actually adding in a good story and making the characters much more believable, the voices don't sound as crazy, they don't seem as crazy, I guess, in this game, and it actually really helps out for getting in touch with the characters.
The sound effects were done really well in this game. I mean, when somebody comes up from behind you to cut you in half with a chainsaw, you can hear it. Like, if you have a 5.1 surround system, you can actually hear them coming up from behind you. And whether or not you have time to turn around and attack them or not is totally different story.
Yeah, they put a lot of good work into the audio in this game. Like, even in story mode, when the characters are talking to each other, or if they're really far away from each other, if they're too far away that they wouldn't actually hear each other, they talk into the radios, and you hear that over the game. They definitely did their best with the audio, and it sounds great. All the weapons sound awesome, the explosions sound in your face. I highly recommend playing this with a surround setup.
Nailed it! Testing smoke!
So overall though, if you have an Xbox 360, you should have Gears of War 3. That's just how I feel about it. It's an excellent game, it's been honed to its finest by this point in time. This is the final in the series of an epic conclusion for gaming. I highly suggest that you pick this game up.
If you're someone who really likes multiplayer games and loves playing online, then this is one of the best games to own. It's not very complicated, it's just really fun. You can just basically just run around and kill people. I definitely enjoy this game.
Alright, well, that's going to be it for this week's review. Check out our other reviews and please subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for a sneak peek into what we're going to be doing next week. So we'll see you then. Bye.
See ya.